It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Life rarely rewards blind diligence alone. Each day you rise, you enter a battlefield unseen, where effort without strategy is a weapon in the hands of others, not your own. You are surrounded by pawns, pieces moved by invisible hands, colleagues, acquaintances, even friends who navigate the game with agendas you cannot yet perceive. Your labor, no matter how sincere, is only part of the equation. Without understanding the hierarchy and tactics around you, victory remains out of reach. Complacency is the enemy's ally, and naivety is your weakest armor. Recognize that every interaction, every task, every choice is a move on a chessboard that stretches beyond your immediate vision. The office is not merely a workplace, it is a war room. Social circles are not merely gatherings, they are alliances and battlegrounds, each conversation a reconnaissance mission. Family dynamics operate similarly, with influence and expectation acting as subtle maneuvers you must anticipate. Effort alone does not secure power. History is strewn with examples of brilliance undone by strategic ignorance. Consider the innovators who worked tirelessly while rivals with less skill but sharper perception advanced instead. Hard work without direction is like a soldier fighting blind. Energy expended but the target missed. Success is claimed by those who combine persistence with observation, patience with calculated initiative. You must cultivate awareness equal to your effort. Track the currents of influence, measure who benefits from your actions and who remains unaffected. Understand the forces that reward effort and those that exploit it. Approach each day with a mind attuned to these subtleties. Map the battlefield before engaging. Ignorance carries a cost far beyond the personal. Years of relentless labor can vanish into obscurity if the underlying structures are misunderstood. Opportunities slip past those who cannot see the patterns of power. The untrained eye perceives only the surface, missing the hierarchies, the alliances, the silent manipulations shaping outcomes. Recognize that some victories are invisible until claimed, some threats are unseen until they strike. Your survival and advancement depend on both exertion and insight. Anticipate moves before they occur. Preempt weaknesses before rivals exploit them. Cultivate a mind capable of discerning strategy in everyday interactions. Each choice must reflect both immediate action and long-term positioning. This is not paranoia, it is disciplined calculation. Treat each moment as both a lesson and maneuver. Command your presence, your time, and your focus. Engage deliberately. Withdraw when observation yields more than action. Speak with measured authority. Act with precise intent. Let patience temper impulse, and let awareness guide effort. In disagreement, demonstrate calm leadership. Respond with clarity, not anger. Redirect conversation to facts, not emotion. Neutralize tension with composed logic rather than concession. Train your perception to detect subtle shifts in tone, posture, and influence. See the patterns, understand the power dynamics, and act decisively within them. Every day you labor without insight, you risk becoming a tool in someone else's strategy. Every action unaligned with awareness is energy handed freely to the unseen manipulators. Replace blind effort with informed exertion. Replace compliance with strategic participation. Replace reaction with calculated initiative. Observe relentlessly, act decisively, and preserve your autonomy. The battlefield is always present. The war continues. You are both a participant and general. You may not control all forces, but you can master your response, your strategy, your trajectory. Claim your seat at the throne of your own effort. See the war, command the field. Your mind is the throne upon which every victory begins. To sit unguarded is to surrender command before battle commences. Discipline your thoughts as a general organizes troops. Uncontrolled emotions are weak gates through which rivals and circumstances breach your position. Observe the terrain of your own mind, identify impulses, anxieties, and habitual reactions that invite exploitation. Crown your thoughts with deliberate attention, placing reason above reflex. Guard against mental invaders. Flattery, social pressure, and misinformation often arrive disguised as counsel. Assess each influence critically. Determine whether it advances your strategy or serves the ambitions of others. Let no external voice dictate your inner counsel without scrutiny. Strategic awareness transforms perception into power. Like a commander surveying a battlefield, anticipate the consequences of every thought, every decision, every commitment. Recognize patterns of manipulation in colleagues, friends, and public discourse, then adjust your position to maintain advantage. In conversation, handle disagreement with calm authority, listen without yielding, assert your reasoning without aggression, and redirect dialogue toward rational clarity. Reject passivity. Every unexamined thought is a vulnerability waiting to be exploited. Replace distraction with focus, emotional reaction with measured response, and confusion with tactical understanding. Mastering the mind requires constant vigilance. Structure routines that reinforce discipline, reflect daily on decisions and their outcomes, and cultivate habits that fortify resilience. Act decisively when opportunities arise within this internal battlefield, moving as a general moves elite forces, with precision, timing, and purpose. Recognize that mental sovereignty is not inherited, but earned through persistent practice and unwavering attention. Protect your inner domain, prioritize strategic thought over immediate desire, and make choices aligned with long-term advantage. Every action, whether internal deliberation or external execution, must reflect command of your own throne. Prepare, observe, and respond deliberately. Maintain clarity amid chaos, and never surrender initiative to impulse or external pressure. Establish control over your perception and response. Let your mind operate as the ultimate fortress, unassailable yet flexible. Rule your internal kingdom with the same rigor a monarch enforces order across lands, ensuring loyalty, strategy, and vigilance permeate every decision. The first conquest is always within. Command the mind, command the world. The first hours of your day are the opening salvo in a war that determines the tempo and outcome of every action that follows. How you engage the dawn sets the rhythm for victory or surrender. Leaders throughout history have understood that mornings are a battlefield where discipline, foresight, and deliberate action yield outsized returns. They rise before distraction arrives, claiming the initiative while others remain passive or reactive. Rituals of power are not mere routines. They are strategic deployments of energy and focus. When you structure the start of your day with precision, you marshal your mind and body like an army preparing for combat, each movement reinforcing readiness, resilience, and authority. Begin with deliberate habits, exercise to awaken the body, reflection to align the mind, and priority tasks to assert control over the day's terrain. Early action functions as a preemptive strike. By moving before others can respond, you seize territory, ideas, and opportunities that might otherwise slip beyond reach. This is not about doing more, but doing first, establishing dominance through initiative rather than volume. The moment you engage proactively, you shape the battlefield on your terms, forcing competitors to react rather than dictate. Small, decisive actions, sending a report, securing a connection, completing a task, compound into strategic advantage over time. Each preemptive step accumulates influence, creating an environment in which your momentum dictates outcomes. Even in collaboration, assert early leadership calmly, outline objectives, Clarify roles and guide the direction without overbearing force, setting the tone through composed authority. Mental priming converts these initial victories into sustained dominance. By conquering your own mind before engaging external challenges, you condition focus, resilience, and strategic clarity. The mind responds to cues. Structured mornings teach discipline, ruinous priorities, and cultivate confidence that carries into every engagement. Success is not only in what you do, but in how prepared you are to respond to unforeseen shifts. A disciplined start shields against reactive impulses, emotional disruption, and the subtle manipulations of others. Each morning spent in tactical preparation strengthens your long-term capacity to influence outcomes, resist pressure, and act with deliberate power. Observe the flow of time, marshal your thoughts, and treat each dawn as a decisive campaign. Command your energy, assert your priorities, and structure your rituals with precision. Recognize that mastery of the morning is mastery of the day. Seize the dawn, seize the day. Silence is a weapon more precise than the sharpest blade. In the chaos of interaction and ambition, restraint grants advantage where aggression invites exposure. To master influence, you must first master pause. Observation is your reconnaissance. Stillness is your armor. The observer wins because patience allows you to discern weaknesses, errors, and patterns before committing to action. Watch colleagues, competitors, and associates carefully, noting where impulses betray them, where overconfidence blinds them, and where habitual mistakes repeat. Delay judgment, delay reaction, and allow insight to accumulate until the moment to act is unmistakable. Emotional detachment converts vulnerability into strength. Reactivity signals opportunity to others. Composure conceals intention. By regulating your internal state, you deny rivals the leverage they seek through provocation or manipulation. Restrain immediate responses, especially in moments of tension, and maintain a controlled presence that projects authority without force. When disagreement arises, respond with calm logic rather than agitation. Articulate reasoning clearly, redirect conversation to shared objectives, and demonstrate that disruption cannot sway your position. This is not passivity, but tactical reserve. Emotional neutrality allows you to make decisions with clarity, free from the distortions of anger, fear, or desire for approval. Stillness itself is a silent threat. Presence without agitation commands attention. Unhurried movement signals confidence and control. The predator waits without revealing intent, and in that patience advantage accrues. Let your calm imply readiness, and let your observation suggest dominance without confrontation. Small gestures, measured eye contact, deliberate pauses, minimal speech project authority that is respected and rarely challenged. Your quiet is a strategic posture, a statement that your power is inherent and your attention selective. Deploy restraint as a standard, not a tactic, allowing every interaction to reveal information while limiting exposure. Your silence becomes a force multiplier, enabling subtle influence and controlled impact. Cultivate rituals that reinforce stillness, deliberate breathing, reflective pauses before action, and structured moments of observation. Integrate these into daily practice so that calm authority becomes instinctive, not performative. Recognize that in the theater of influence, those who act without observation are exposed, while those who wait, watch, and calculate often achieve outcomes without visible struggle. Command your presence, sharpen your awareness, and let patience guide every maneuver. Harness observation, temper emotion, and radiate composed authority. Every movement measured, every word considered, every silence purposeful. Your restraint is your weapon, your calm is your fortress, your observation is your intelligence. Silence cuts deeper than steel. To dominate the hidden games of influence, you must purge weakness like a predator clearing its territory. Mercy is a costly indulgence when stakes are high. History demonstrates that leaders who hesitated to remove ineffective allies or rivals often faced collapse. Leniency can invite exploitation, allowing incompetence and hesitation to fester within your domain. Recognize that in power structures, tolerance of mediocrity or toxicity undermines authority and diminishes the effectiveness of your strategy. The cost of inaction is measured in lost opportunities, squandered resources, and the erosion of respect. Selective engagement amplifies strength. Not every battle warrants your presence, and not every confrontation serves your long-term objectives. Focus your energy on actions that consolidate power, advance influence, and secure strategic advantage. Avoid dispersing effort on trivial disputes or low-impact conflicts. Like a predator calculating the hunt, identify targets and engagements that offer maximum yield relative to risk. In interactions, handle dissent with controlled authority, redirect the conversation toward essential objectives, neutralize unproductive arguments calmly, and refuse to be drawn into distractions. Each engagement must reinforce your position, not dilute it. Mental sterilization fortifies command over self and circumstance. Remove hesitation, self-doubt, and indecision from your internal landscape, treating uncertainty as a vulnerability that opponents can exploit. Establish clear priorities and enforce them without compromise. Practice rigorous evaluation of commitments and eliminate mental clutter that saps focus or diverts attention from your primary objectives. Adopt structured reflection to identify and eradicate recurring doubts or unproductive thought patterns. Strengthen internal command by rehearsing decisive action, reinforcing confidence, and cultivating resilience to pressure. Cut distractions ruthlessly. Limit exposure to people, situations, and environments that drain energy or obscure judgment. Every unnecessary attachment is a potential breach in your fortress. Maintain control over your resources, time, and attention with the precision of a military strategist allocating troops to secure critical positions. Let focus and discipline dictate daily choices, removing temptation to engage where advantage is minimal or risk is disproportionate. Consolidate your influence by continuously refining priorities, excising weakness, and reinforcing strategic clarity. Your sovereignty depends on this unflinching commitment to internal and external order. Eliminate weakness. Secure your dominion. Appear stronger than you are, for perception governs outcomes as often as reality. Authority is a performance, a calculated projection of strength that shapes how others respond before you engage. Cultivate the illusion of invincibility through posture, tone, and composure. Let your presence command attention and signal capability beyond your immediate means. Confidence becomes a tool of influence, persuading rivals, allies, and observers to align or defer without confrontation. Every gesture, every word, every measured pause contributes to the impression of mastery. Mimic power structures to navigate environments strategically. Observe rituals, language, and symbols that convey authority within your domain. From the formality of boardroom meetings to the subtle hierarchy of social networks, adopt the cues that reinforce influence. Understanding these structures allows you to project legitimacy, integrate seamlessly into positions of power, and gain respect without overextending your resources. Imitation here is strategic, not servile. It communicates competence and situational awareness, demonstrating that you grasp both the rules and the nuances of the arena. Deception as strategy is a principle of historical significance. Leaders from multiple eras relied on projecting strength to prevent unnecessary conflict, deter challengers, and consolidate authority without over-reliance on force. By appearing more capable than you are, you create a psychological advantage, shaping the actions of others in your favor. When challenged, handle disagreement with calm authority, assert your position clearly, redirect focus toward shared objectives, and maintain an air of composed command that discourages escalation. This is not manipulation, but disciplined strategic communication. Control your image rigorously. Dress, speak, and move with intention. Align your external presentation with the strength you wish to project, knowing that perception can preempt resistance and influence outcomes. Internal mastery amplifies external projection, fortifies confidence and competence to support the appearance of authority. Each interaction becomes a calculated maneuver, each observation an intelligence-gathering opportunity. Project power consistently, avoid exposing weakness, and synchronize presence with purpose. The mask is not deception in isolation. It is a tool to navigate the complex interplay of influence, expectation, and strategic advantage. Project strength, command respect. Precision and timing define the difference between success and irrelevance. Strike without warning, for hesitation allows opportunity to vanish and advantage to slip to others. Like a predator observing its prey, you must identify the exact moment when circumstances align and resistance is weakest. Opportunity is fleeting, and the decisive act often comes once. Preparation, observation, and courage converge to create an opening that must be seized immediately. Delay invites competitors to anticipate, adapt, or preempt, so cultivate readiness that allows action without deliberation once the moment arrives. Cold calculation is essential. Remove sentiment, bias, and attachment from decision-making processes. Emotional interference slows response, clouds judgment, and exposes vulnerability. Evaluate circumstances objectively, weigh consequences strategically, and commit to action when the situation demands it. Discipline your mind to recognize patterns, anticipate reactions, and calculate risk without moral hesitation or hesitation driven by fear of discomfort. Effective execution relies on clarity of purpose and clarity of method. In professional or social conflict, handle disagreement with calm authority, assert your position clearly, avoid reactive escalation, and take measured action that achieves objectives while maintaining composure. Invisible influence amplifies potency. The most decisive moves often occur without visibility, leaving opponents unprepared and unable to counter. Subtle adjustments, unannounced initiatives, or private negotiations can shift outcomes as dramatically as overt action. Use discretion as a weapon, conceal strategy while allowing results to manifest publicly, shaping perception after the fact. Let your work, presence, and choices reveal power only when advantageous. By combining dining, calculation, and stealth, you maintain control over both action and perception. Train for instantaneous decisiveness. Anticipate opportunities in advance, rehearse potential responses, and refine your judgment until action becomes instinctive. Observe carefully, act coldly, and execute without hesitation when conditions are favorable. Each strike is a statement of control, a reaffirmation of preparedness, and a consolidation of influence. Allow no delay, no doubt, no overextension to compromise advantage. Master this internal precision, and you become both strategist and executor, capable of decisive influence in every arena. Strike with clarity, dominate without warning. Power grows where discipline meets hunger. Feed the wolf within, nurturing intellect, strength, and ambition relentlessly. Knowledge is your weapon. Sharpen it daily through reading, analysis, and reflection. Each idea, skill, or perspective acquired becomes a tool in the arsenal, expanding capacity to influence, strategize, and adapt. Continuous learning fortifies resilience against manipulation and unpredictability, allowing you to anticipate moves before rivals recognize their own options. Intellectual preparation is the foundation of enduring power. Physical and mental conditioning sustain long campaigns. The body is the vessel of execution. The mind, the engine of strategy, strengthened both to endure prolonged effort and to respond with clarity under pressure. Rigorous routines, disciplined exercise, and mental challenges enhance endurance, focus, and cognitive flexibility. Each session, each practice is a deliberate investment in capability, like a predator preparing for the hunt. Your stamina ensures that advantage can be exploited whenever opportunity arises, without faltering or hesitation. Harness hunger as fuel, not distraction. Desire motivates action, but uncontrolled ambition leads to error and burnout. Direct drive toward measurable goals, using it to energize planning, execution, and adaptation. Recognize that only sustained, focused desire creates long-term victories. Fleeting impulses yield short-lived gains. Channel hunger into preparation, observation, and decisive action. Maintain self-awareness, regularly evaluating whether energy is being expended on high-value targets or dissipated on trivial pursuits. Combine these practices to create an internal ecosystem of power. Knowledge, strength, and ambition feed each other, reinforcing capability and resilience. Feed the wolf daily through disciplined learning, conditioning, and intentional action. Let desire remain under control while remaining sharp and prepared, always ready to exploit openings and maintain strategic advantage. Your mastery grows incrementally, invisibly, and relentlessly. Feed the wolf, rule the hunt. Life is a chessboard, and every move determines your fate. Anticipate the intentions of others. Study their patterns, and position yourself to exploit openings before they even emerge. Predict and preempt. Analyze behavior, recognize recurring strategies, and shape outcomes in your favor. Reacting to events leaves you vulnerable. The initiative belongs to those who dictate the tempo. Like a seasoned player, identify potential threats and opportunities simultaneously, ensuring that each action furthers long-term objectives. Sacrifice with purpose. Pawns are exchanged to secure kings. Minor losses are endured to capture decisive advantage. Short-term setbacks are investments when aligned with an overarching strategy. Avoid impulsive decisions that appear immediately beneficial but compromise position over time. Every concession, every risk, and every maneuver must serve a deliberate plan. Evaluate which battles merit engagement and which require patience. Misallocated effort invites counterplay and exposes weaknesses to vigilant opponents. Maintain initiative relentlessly. Do not allow external pressures to dictate your rhythm. Control the pace of interaction, negotiation, and execution to force others into reactive patterns. Initiative compounds advantage. Those who act first, frame scenarios, influence perception, and constrain rival options. Observe carefully, plan rigorously, and execute decisively, ensuring momentum remains with you. In group dynamics, a disagreement handled calmly and assertively can shift influence without confrontation, maintaining authority while avoiding unnecessary conflict. Mastering the chessboard of life demands foresight, disciplined sacrifice, and relentless control of tempo. Evaluate every opportunity through the lens of strategy. Anticipate resistance and commit to moves that consolidate position and power. Treat each decision as part of an interconnected series where the consequences ripple across the board and shape future options. The disciplined strategist survives, prevails, and shapes outcomes where others stumble blindly. Command the board, control your destiny. Discipline is forged in repetition and reinforced through deliberate challenge. Each day presents an opportunity to test your resolve, to endure discomfort, and to strengthen the connection between mind and body. Daily trials, though small, accumulate into formidable willpower. Completing tasks with rigor, even when tedious or uncomfortable, trains your capacity to withstand larger pressures without faltering. Controlled discomfort is your weapon. Cold showers, early rising, deliberate restraint, each moment endured cultivates resilience and sharpens focus. When you willingly step into challenges, you teach yourself to thrive under adversity rather than succumb to it. Mind-body alignment transforms mental control into tangible power. Physical conditioning, exercise, posture, stamina reinforces self-discipline and sharpens cognitive clarity. The body becomes a vessel that mirrors the strength of the mind, translating controlled movement and endurance into unshakable confidence. Treat each repetition, each deliberate act of effort, as an investment in a fortified core capable of withstanding chaos and manipulation. Small rituals compound. The cumulative effect is an unbreakable foundation from which decisive action flows naturally. Mastery of the iron will require intentional design, schedule, ritual, and the pursuit of minor but deliberate hardships. Avoid ease and indulgence. The path to resilience is through consistency, self-challenge, and disciplined routine. Control your environment, command your habits, and cultivate persistence until it becomes instinctive. Even in disagreements or conflicting perspectives, maintain composure, respond with calm authority, and preserve internal equilibrium, signaling strength without unnecessary confrontation. Endure, persist, dominate. Power is claimed when no one can touch your mind, your decisions, or your calm. Emotional immunity is your armor. Envy, fear, and rage are weapons that fail against a controlled mind. By mastering your responses, you render attempts at manipulation useless. Move deliberately, unshaken by provocation, and your presence alone dictates outcomes. Invisible influence becomes your signature. Shape events, guide decisions, and alter paths without overt confrontation. Those around you respond, not to force, but to the silent authority of your composure, the certainty that radiates from unbreakable self-command. To leave a legacy of power, operate as if your actions echo beyond your immediate reach. Decisions made today ripple tomorrow, and your influence persists even in absence. Cultivate patience, observe the environment, and act strategically when timing aligns. Micro-decisions often carry larger consequences. Remain vigilant, poised, and detached from immediate gratification. In interactions where others challenge or resist, respond with calm authority, redirecting energy without escalation, demonstrating mastery through controlled presence rather than argument. Mastery of self is mastery of circumstance. When your internal core is untouchable, threats lose potency, conflicts become manageable, and your authority extends effortlessly. Craft your routines, sharpen your perception, and let your influence outlast your actions. Control yourself, command the world. Every move you make has been forged in preparation. The battlefield of life rewards only those who synthesize strategy, discipline, and insight into a singular force. Your mornings are seized, each hour a tactical advance that shapes the terrain of opportunity. Stillness has become a weapon. Observation and restraint sharpened your awareness, allowing you to exploit patterns unnoticed by the untrained. Ruthlessness is no longer a conscious act, but a natural extension of your clarity. Distractions, weak alliances, and indecision are eliminated before they threaten progress. The masks you wear project authority, deterring confrontation and shaping perception without revealing your full hand. Instinct guides decisive strikes, timing calibrated by practice and patience, leaving rivals unprepared and overextended. Hunger fuels continual growth. Knowledge, skill, and physical readiness are sharpened as instinctive tools of survival and influence. Each strategic decision is weighed not only for immediate impact but for long-term positioning, sacrifices accepted as necessary to secure overarching victories. Discipline and ritual have sculpted an unbreakable core, resilience integrated into every thought and movement, allowing you to act with autonomy regardless of circumstance. Emotional immunity grants sovereign control. Fear, envy, and rage cannot compromise your judgment or direction. Influence radiates invisibly, outcomes bending without direct intervention, and your presence alone commands attention and respect. Micro-conflicts are handled with calm authority. When disagreement arises, energy is redirected, tension neutralized, and objectives maintained without escalation. Integration of these principles creates synergy. Each tactic reinforces the others, producing a compound effect where mastery of one domain amplifies competence in another. You operate as a chess grandmaster, predator, and sovereign simultaneously, your actions deliberate, your posture unassailable, your decisions precise. Failure at any stage carries tangible costs. Loss of influence, wasted effort, and prolonged vulnerability, but mastery grants freedom from external control, persistent authority, and lasting impact. Power is no longer a goal but a state. Psychological, social, and tactical command are embodied, instinctive, and unshakable. You are no longer a pawn, but a sovereign on the chessboard of life, orchestrating outcomes, shaping realities, and leaving trajectories altered by your presence. Every ritual, every observation, every calculated strike converges into a singular rhythm of dominance. Maintain vigilance, enforce boundaries, sharpen perception, and execute with certainty. Master strategy, embody power, become unstoppable. Discipline begins in the mind before it manifests in action. Mastery of self is the foundation upon which all influence rests. Begin each day with deliberate reflection, assessing your intentions, your priorities, and your vulnerabilities. Treat each moment as a chessboard, where awareness and preparation dictate the outcome. Record observations from the previous day, successes, errors, and patterns of behavior, and translate them into actionable strategies. Small, consistent adjustments compound into invincible habits. Adopt a sovereign mindset. Recognize that control over your reactions, focus, and decisions cannot be delegated. External circumstances will attempt to impose chaos, but you internalize command, turning obstacles into leverage. Influence flows from presence, decisiveness, and calm authority. Cultivate it daily through controlled speech, confident posture, and measured choices. Practice selective engagement. Allocate energy only to battles aligned with long-term strategy, letting trivial conflicts pass unchallenged. Guard your mental environment. Eliminate distractions, filter input, and maintain clarity under pressure. Build resilience through ritualized routines that train your endurance, sharpen cognition, and strengthen the body, for mental command cannot exist without physical readiness. When confronted with disagreement or challenge, respond with composure, absorbing tension without reactive emotion, redirecting the interaction toward resolution while preserving authority. Integrate previous lessons. Use stillness to observe, ruthlessness to prune, projection to influence, instinct to strike, hunger to sustain effort, and strategy to anticipate moves. Each principle amplifies the others, forming a lattice of competence that cannot be dismantled by casual chaos. Your daily mantra serves as a compass and shield, a short, repeatable phrase that reinforces vigilance, self-control, and strategic foresight. Let it guide decision-making, sharpen focus, and remind you that sovereignty begins internally before it extends outward. Execute with consistency, reflection, and precision. Strengthen your core, master your impulses, and assert influence where appropriate. Command yourself, command the world.